my channel. So let me tell you, I thought that this month I went slower. I thought I went into less palettes than the previous month, but it seems that I just did the same thing and I have so many palettes in front of me. I'm going to be going through all of the eyeshadow palettes that I went into in the month of June. And there are so many here. I don't know what I was thinking. What am I doing every single month? I mean, I'm using my eyeshadow, which is fine. I mean, I'd rather do that than have 100 neglected palettes. I don't even have 100 eyeshadow palettes, but you know what I mean. However, this is a little obscene. There definitely are some palettes like last month where I went into it a lot more because they're in projects or they're my pan that palette, so it just makes sense. But there are so many that I just went into the once, and it's kind of shocking when it's in front of me, but here we are again. I used to rank all of my eyeshadow palettes that I've used in the month by least favorite to favorite. I might do that maybe next month or so, but I feel like this month we're just going to go through what I've done the last couple of months where I'm going to go through my uses. So I'm going to do least used versus most used, and there are so many here. So last month I had 28 eyeshadow palettes that I went into. This month I have 34. Like, what am I doing with my life? I do go into multiple different palettes for different looks sometimes, and I have done at least a couple of makeup challenges where I don't necessarily have to go into like palettes that are in projects. So that's kind of why suddenly, randomly, I have palettes that I'm using that I wouldn't normally have used had I not done those specific makeup challenges or videos. But still, 34 palettes in a month, and it was a smaller month. I thought I was going to do better in terms of not having as many, but I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I do not know. So anyway, let's get into it. So there are 18 eyeshadow palettes that I only went into once. That means I went into them for one makeup look for this month. If I can find pictures for reference to any of these eyeshadow palettes for this last month, I will put them on the screen. If you don't see images, then it means I can't find them or I just simply did not take a picture of my face. Okay, so let's get into it. The first one here is this one from Glamshop. I did pull this from my Shop My Stash the last month, and I did end up going into it right at the beginning of June, so I do remember going into this. I really like this palette. I don't know how to say it. I don't think they have it on their site anymore, but I really love their quality of eyeshadow. I think it's outstanding compared to other indie eyeshadows as well. I think it really just like is on par with a lot of them. I will say they have specifically quite chunky shades that not every indie makeup brand has. So you have to be aware, you probably have to do your makeup before you do your base or whatever. I went into this only once. I'm glad I did though. I also went into my Lethal Avatar Water palette. This is the blue version, obviously, of all the palettes they released. I love this one. So I know that I went into this one specifically for my gemstone makeup look for the month of June. So every single month for my channel members, I'm doing a gemstone inspired makeup look. So in May, I did emerald, so it was very, very green. And then in June, it was more moonstone, and I think there was alexandrite and also pearls. Like, I think those were the three main sort of gemstones that I was taking inspiration from. The look ended up quite blue. You guys would have seen it at some point. But if you do want to see the video, obviously you have to become a member. I also went into my Revolution The Muse Icon palette. So this one was a new palette for me that I picked up in May, and I went into it in June. So that's why I've only gone into it the once, though I do want to go into it again just in my own time or maybe for a video. I went into this shade, and I really want to try the pink cream shade and maybe do more of a pink with the purple, so maybe like a pinky purple look just to see how that looks, and then maybe a splash of blue. So I already have something in mind for this palette, but I haven't had the time because obviously I've gone into 34 palettes. So when have I had the time to go back into this one? But I will find the time. But anyway, I only went into that once. I did also only go into my Midnight palette once from Beauty Bay. This one was again for just one shade. It was actually for my Bingo of Shame, which is the collab video where a lot of people are doing that. And I went into this one specific shade because I was trying to dupe the vibes. Next up, I also went into this palette. This is the Makeup Revolution Astronova palette. So this one What did I go into? I cannot remember. Oh, I went into this shade for something. This was for a makeup challenge. I know it was for a makeup challenge. Again, for my members, I did a random look, and actually it was the look that I wore for my Project Pan video where a lot of you said, oh my gosh, are you going to do a tutorial on this look? I love this look. I have done a get ready with me with that look, but it was for my channel members, and I did end up going into this palette for 2 shades actually. I went into this one. What other shade did I go into? It was random. So I went into 2 different shades from 4 different palettes, and it was kind of like a palette bingo, and I was just like testing the waters and seeing what I could do, all the while chatting as well. I went into another shade, but I can't remember for the life of me which one I went into. But yeah, we only went to this once this month. Also went into the Gal on Venus from Gloss Gods. So I just realized I didn't even include this one, but I did go into this for my Bingo Shame collab video as well. I went into this bright orange right here, but I didn't write it down, but I didn't have it in my notes, so whatever. It's still 34 palettes overall. Anyway, love this palette. I can't remember if they still have this. I don't think they do. I think it's discontinued. I don't know if they're gonna bring it back, but love it. Also went into this one from Glamshop just the once this month. What did I go into? I cannot remember. I think I went into 2 different shades actually. I think this was part of my video where I did 2 different shades. Yeah, I went into this one, and I also went into Organza as well. ColourPop Aurora Struck, I did also go into this one time this month. I went into this blue shade, and I also went into this So Lit shade right here for my gemstone look that I did. Next up, I also went into the Glaminatrix Rich Romantic. I am going to be doing 3 looks, 1 palette. This is actually one of the looks that I'm going to be doing for that video. That will be going out later this week. I know I've been talking about it for ages. It's finally being produced. I have to do the looks, right? But I did go into this randomly last month as well. I went into this shade again for my Bingo of Shame collab video. I thought this one was a good dupe for a shade that I was trying to find in a palette that I did not have. Next up, I also went into Blueberry Muffin from BH Cosmetics. This one, again, it was for my gemstone, and I went into this shade down here called Delish. I don't think I went into anything else in here, but I'm glad that I'm not completely neglecting it. It is definitely one of my most neglected palettes in my collection, but I'm slowly still using it, so that's fine. I also went into the Feral palette from Menagerie Cosmetics once this month. I think it was for this one. Again, I think it was for that Bingo of Shame video where I used this because it definitely was a very good dupe for the shade that I wanted. Don't think I went into anything else in this palette. I also went into this one. So this one is from Glamshop, and I went into it when I did my random makeup generator video challenge, and it pulled this palette, and then I did a palette bingo, and it pulled all the boring shades, another special shade. So you guys watched that video. I do appreciate you all watched it, but it was probably my least interesting look I've ever done on my channel. And this palette actually has really gorgeous shades, so it was such a shame. But yeah, I went into this once for that video. I think I had it in my Shop My Stash, so I was happy to have used it. Still would have definitely preferred to use some other shades in there. I also used the Delicious Delights from Cosmic Beauty just once. So this one I went into for the Bingo of Shame because I realized that there was a really good pink, so I ended up going into this pink, but otherwise I don't think I went into anything else in this palette for this month. Also went into my Lunar Beauty Moonshroom palette. This was again for that makeup look where I pulled or I picked 2 different shades from multiple palettes to create a look. So I also went into this palette, and I can't remember. Also went into the NARS Afterglow. This was for the same video. So I've been wanting to go into my NARS Afterglow palette for a long time. It's one of my oldest palettes. And I was thinking, should I just do a look with this? But then it might be a little boring. So that's why I included everything. So I did end up going into 2 different shades in here. I was actually mostly just the browns. I don't think I went into anything else. My special shade I still have not gone into. I love the shade so much in this palette, but I will get to this eventually. I just want to use this a little bit more. I couldn't possibly put it for a Pan That palette for next year but I would not be not happy if it was rolled into like a project level up, because then I could get finally some nice use on it. I just never been able to do that. Next up, I went into the Gloss Gods Color of Rain palette once. This one, again, I went into it for my gemstone look. I went into Dewy, this one quite a lot. This is a gorgeous blue shade. And I think one other, but I can't remember. Also went into my Sample Beauty Equalizer Volume 2 palette. I really enjoy this. What I really enjoy about this palette is I really like the matte white down here. I think it's probably the best one that I have in my collection. So I did go into this palette for this particular shade. I don't think I went into anything else. So still love this palette. It's one of my used palettes, as you saw in my video last week of like my most used palettes. I also went into the Gloss Gods What's Your Power? And this one, I went into the pink thinking that it was going to be strong enough for the pink that I really needed in that Bingo Shane video, but it wasn't if you watch that video. So that's why I ended up going into the Cosmic Beauty Delicious Delights. But I did end up going into this one as well. So obviously I'm counting it. And then I'm kind of going to count this. This is a singles palette. I did end up going into this. I went into just for one shade though, so it's not all that interesting, but I did end up going into one of my pastel roses. Which one is it? I think it was this one over here. I have to be very careful because I've smashed these before. So this one is called Diadem, and this one I also went into for my gemstone look. So yeah, I've got like pastel roses here. I've got a bunch of singles I've taken out, like depotted from other palettes, and then these are also some e.l.f. Shades that I saved from a palette that I didn't enjoy. But yeah, I like this little cute little palette, and I'm glad that I went into it, if only just for one shade. I'm happy that it got a little bit of use. Okay, so those are all of the palettes that I went into just the once this last month. Next, we're gonna go into palettes where I've used them twice, so they got a little bit more use. Okay, first one is from Gourmand Girls. This is the Call of the Sirens palette. I just got this in May, and I already did like 3 looks with it. But I went into it again this last month. I actually did it, I went into this for my live Get Ready With Me. We have a little stray behind us. So, you know, he just wants to be my little audience for now. Anyway, I did end up going into this, my channel members live Get Ready With Me. I did end up going into this. And then I also went into it, I think another time, just in my own time, because I wanted to just use it again as one of my newer palettes. Gloss Gods Gal on the Moon. I also went into this twice. So one of the times was for my gemstone, and then another time was for the Get Ready With Me with my channel members. I'm sorry I keep mentioning that, but I do a lot of videos. I'm trying to do extra videos for that part of my channel. I also went into the Cosmic Beauty Lovers palette. So this one, I do have a shade in my Pan Those Eyeshadows, so I do kind of need to go into this a little bit more, but I ended up going into this shade for like a random video, and this is my Pan Those Eyeshadow shade. Next up, I also went into my Galactic Visitor from Singe Beauty 2 times. So this one I've already said and mentioned multiple times. I really, really enjoy. I also have it in my Pan in Every Palette project, where I should be hitting pan in this, but obviously you can see I do not have a pan in it. Gotta speed this up. There's just too many palettes here. Then we also have my Cosmic Beauty Serenity. This also has a shade in my Pan Those Eyeshadows. But I did end up going into this shade as well, because I've been starting to do a video now of going into different shades in my Pan Those Eyeshadow palettes, just so I don't neglect every other shade. But otherwise, this is the shade that I'm still trying to hit pan on. And as you can see, still no pan. Okay, next up are all the palettes that I've gone into 3 times this month. So the first one is the Makeup Factory Gold Selection palette. I have a shade in my Pan Those Eyeshadows, and I also went into this shade up here in a different video. My Look for Rainbows from Gloss Gods, I've gone into 3 times this last month. I have it in my pan that palette in order. It's hard to remember everything, but yeah, I'm trying to hit pan everything this one. So it really should have more use, but I'm being very relaxed with that project, so I'm not forcing myself. I'm just using it when I feel like it makes the most sense. And I also went into the Cosmic Beauty Muse palette 3 times this last month. This also had a shade in my Pan Those eyeshadows, so I think at least one of those uses was for the shade right here, or they might have all just been for this shade. That is possible because I know I hit pan in it and then I put it in my drawers and I forgot about it, so that is quite possible. Okay, another one is from Glamshop. I've actually gone into all of my Glamshop palettes this month. I've just realized. This is the Sorbet, and I have this in my Pan in Every palette. And I went into, oh my gosh, I don't know if you saw that, but I am trying to hit pan in this, so I've gone into this a few times. Have I gone into anything else? Probably not, but this is super, super flaky, so I have to be a little bit careful now. I think I will hit pan in it very, very soon, but it is kind of going everywhere because it is breaking apart on me, which I know is going to put a lot of people off of a Glamshop, but their shades are actually beautiful, and that shade alone is stunning. I also went into the Glaminatrix Nearly Natural palette 3 times this last month. This was a newer palette for me, and I ended up doing a 3 looks 1 palette, and also I went into it for another video, but maybe that was like the end of May, probably the end of May. So yeah, this month alone, I went into it the 3 times. And I really enjoy this. Oh, actually, I think I went into it an extra time on my own. I can't remember what's going on in life. I feel like time is moving really, really fast, but I don't remember anything. So, you know, what does that say about me? It's not a good thing. But yeah, I do really enjoy this palette though. I'm glad I got it. Another palette I've used 3 times is the New Neutrals from Gloss Gods. This is also in a project. I'm trying and failing. I'm trying to hit pan in this one. I think this is the only shade I've actually gone into for those 3 uses. It is in my Pan in Every palette, yes. Okay, then I have one palette where I've gone into 5 times, and that is the Gourmand Girls Peach Perfect palette. I have one shade that I am trying to hit pan on in my Pan Those eyeshadows, which is this one. But then I also went into this orange shade as well earlier this month in this palette. Then I have Natasha Denona Retro. This one I went into 6 times this last month. I do have a shade in my Pan Those eyeshadows, which is this one right here. So that's why I have so much use on this. Did I go into anything else? Yes, I did, because I did that look. Yeah, I went into the shade Go Go. Oh yes, my Pan Those eyeshadows makeup challenge this last month. I really truly hated that look. Some of you said you liked it. I thought it was the worst look I've ever done. I really, really struggled with that one. But yeah, I went into 2 different shades. Next up, we've got the Avatar Air palette from Lethal Cosmetics. This is my Project Level Up palette. I've gone into this one 7 times this month. And I had pretty good use because I have hit pan in one of the shades, a little bit of a spoiler, and I've gone into some other shades as well. I do need to hit pan in all of the shimmers to be able to complete my level 4. So as you can see, I'm not there yet. But yeah, I've had a good amount of use on this one this month. And then the last 2 are my Pan Those palettes, my Pan palette for the year. So I'm working on the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude. This one I've only gone into 8 times this month, so definitely slowed down. But as we know, the Shadow Kiss, I'm getting a lot more use on it because I do use a shade in my eyebrows now. So it kind of counts, because even if I don't go into any of the shades for my eyes, I still track it for that day if I go in for my eyebrows. But anyway, let's talk about the Naughty Nude first. I've been really enjoying it. I have noticed that this shade in particular is very, very kind of sort of loose, and I'm getting a lot of kick up now. So I think this is the next one that I'm trying to hit pan on. I have been really enjoying going into Juicy, so I think I've expanded that pan a little bit. And I don't want to say anything more because I don't want to spoil my pan that palette. But hopefully I can get another pan before that update comes out. But yeah, definitely have enjoyed going into that, but I haven't like forced myself. So the usage is still kind of slow. And then for the Alter Ego Shadow Kiss, I've gone into this one 21 times. Last month I went into it 20 times. This month, 21 times. And it was a shorter month. Who am I? Who am I? But yeah, like I said, I've been going into one specific shade for my eyebrows. I do kind of have a spoiler in here, but don't notice it. But yeah, otherwise, I actually have gone into this shade a lot. And I've gone into this shade, even though I use it for my eyebrows all the time. I have actually gone into it for my eyes a few times this month. I keep going into Risk. I've been enjoying the shade Disguise. And I've also been enjoying Veil as well. So I've been going into some other shades. However, majority of the 21 uses is going to be this shade, which I have yet to hit pan on. It's crazy. So I've gone into it like 50 times now. And I know that like these didn't take me 50 uses. Maybe this one took 40 something, but whatever. Anyway, so that is the palette that I've used the most, again, for the second month in a row. So I think next month it'll probably look very, very similar. So that's probably the reason why I'm going to maybe switch it up and do this maybe every 2 months, where every 2 months I go through maybe my total uses, unless you don't want me to do it every single month. So what I'll do next month is maybe just like rank all of them as like least favorite to favorite, just to switch it up a little bit. But if you don't want me to revert back to that, let me know. Or if you don't mind like switching it up, maybe I'll do that. I might decide not to, I don't know. It takes a long time to rank eyeshadow palettes because quite honestly, I find it very difficult to rank them. I still feel like the Lethal Air is like my favorite palette at this point in time. It probably will change though. It might change. I have been really enjoying some other palettes, but I just love that palette so much and like what it does to my eyes. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Those are all the eyeshadow palettes that I used in the month of June. I hope I slow down in July. I think it's a little too much, to be fair, especially just like going through this video. And now I have to find all the looks to edit the video, which I am super, super dreading because I'm so behind today. I'm actually supposed to post this today. So wish me luck. Hopefully we get there. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.